The room fell silent when the CEO stood up. Board members, investors, reporters, and a long line of carefully chosen women had gathered for what was rumored to be another polite rejection. Everyone already knew the story. Orav Khanna, the most eligible billionaire in the city, had refused every woman placed before him. Models, heiresses, politicians' daughters, global executives. He had said no to all of them without explanation. Some called him arrogant. Others said he was incapable of love. But no one expected what happened next. Orav's eyes didn't move toward the elegant women seated in front rows. Instead, they drifted to the far corner of the hall, where a young woman stood holding a clipboard, her shoulders tense as if she hoped no one would notice her. She was not dressed in silk or diamonds. She was part of the event staff, and then he said her name. "I choose her." A soft gasp spread through the room. The girl froze. Her name was Anayat, and no one knew her story. Not yet. Orav Khanna had built his empire from nothing. His father had died when he was 17, leaving behind debt, lawsuits, and a broken reputation. Orav had slept in his office, skipped meals, and buried his emotions so deep that even he forgot they existed. Success came, but love never followed. Every proposal he received felt like a transaction. He saw ambition in their smiles, calculation in their words. No one asked how heavy loneliness could be when you carried it alone for years, so he stopped trying. Anaya, on the other hand, had learned loss early too. Her mother died when she was 12. Her father vanished under the weight of grief and responsibility. She worked through college, cleaned offices at night, studied by streetlight when electricity failed. Life never offered her shortcuts, only lessons. Yet somehow, she carried kindness like a quiet strength, not weakness. They first met months earlier in a moment no one witnessed. Orav had stayed late one night, sitting in his dark office, staring at numbers that no longer made sense. The door opened gently. Anaya, assigned to event coordination, apologized softly, thinking the office was empty. She turned to leave, but Orav stopped her. "Do you ever feel like success costs more than it pays?" he asked, surprising himself. She hesitated, then answered honestly. "I think success without peace is just another form of poverty." That sentence stayed with him. Over the following weeks, they crossed paths often. Short conversations. Shared silence. Anaya never asked who he was or what he owned. She spoke about books, about her fear of failing people who depended on her, about finding joy in small victories. Orav found himself listening, really listening, for the first time in years. Still, choosing her was not easy. The backlash came immediately. Media mocked him. Investors panicked. His family accused him of ruining the Khanna legacy. They said she was after his money. They said she was uneducated, unsuitable, invisible. Anaya heard it all. One evening, she stood outside his car, tears held back by sheer will. "I don't want to be the reason your world turns against you," she said. "I didn't ask for this." Orav replied quietly, "Neither did I. But for the first time, something feels right." The real challenge began after the announcement. Anaya struggled to fit into a world that judged before it listened. At elite dinners, conversations stopped when she spoke. Some women smiled politely, others didn't bother hiding their contempt. She felt small, questioned her worth, wondered if love alone could survive such pressure. Orav faced his own battle. His board threatened resignation. A major investor pulled out. For the first time in years, his empire shook. Doubt crept in late at night. Was he being selfish? Was love worth risking everything he had built? The turning point came when Anaya tried to walk away. She packed her things quietly, leaving a note behind. It said she loved him enough to let him go. Orav found the note and broke. He realized then that love was not possession. It was choice. Sacrifice. Courage. He went after her, not with grand gestures or promises of wealth, but with truth. He stood in front of her small rented apartment. No security, no cameras. "I've spent my life protecting what I built," he said. "But you taught me something. A life without love is just survival. I don't want to survive anymore. I want to live." Anaya cried, not because he was rich, but because he was human. They decided to face the world together. Slowly, perceptions changed. Anaya started a foundation for working students, using no money from Orav at first, only her experience and effort. When people questioned her presence, she answered with dignity, not defense. When critics attacked, she responded with results. Orav, inspired by her resilience, restructured his company to focus on ethical leadership and employee welfare. Profits dipped briefly, then rose stronger than before. Investors returned. trust rebuilt. On their wedding day, there were no extravagant displays meant to impress. Just honest vows. Oriv said, I refused the world because I was afraid of being seen. You saw me anyway. Anaya replied, I never wanted your name or your power. I wanted your heart. Thank you for trusting me with it. The applause that followed was not forced. Years later, when asked why he chose her, Oriv answered simply, she reminded me that love isn't about choosing the best option. It's about choosing the right soul. And Anaya, once invisible, became a symbol of quiet strength. The story spread not because it was a fairy tale, but because it was real. It taught people that love is not found in status, beauty, or approval. It is found in courage, understanding, and the willingness to stand together when the world says you shouldn't, because sometimes, the one you choose doesn't just change your life. They change who you become. The morning after her birthday felt different to Aaliyah. Sunlight slipped through the thin curtains of their small apartment, landing softly on her school bag resting against the wall. Usually, mornings were slow and painful. Her legs needed time, patience, and quiet strength. But today, there was something else inside her chest. Not excitement. Not happiness exactly. Something warmer. Something steadier. She remembered the man's voice. Calm. Firm. Unafraid. Farah noticed it too. As she helped Aaliyah adjust her brace, she saw a spark in her daughter's eyes that had been missing for a long time. You're smiling already, Farah said gently. Aaliyah nodded. Ami, do you think all people aren't bad? The question caught Farah off guard. She paused, then smiled softly. No, Jan. Just distracted. Sometimes they need reminding. At school that day, the reminder was needed again. The classroom was noisy, chairs scraping, children rushing to claim their favorite seats. Aaliyah arrived a little late because the bus ramp had jammed again. By the time she entered, every seat was taken. The teacher hadn't arrived yet. No one noticed her standing near the door, balancing herself carefully, trying not to draw attention. Her legs began to ache. Whispers started. A boy in the back giggled. Another student stared too long. Aaliyah felt that familiar shrinking feeling, the one that made her wish she could disappear into the floor. Then she remembered the chair. She remembered how one man stood when everyone else stayed seated. Aaliyah took a breath. Can I please sit? She asked quietly. In her response, her voice trembled, but she tried again, louder this time. I can't stand for long. The room fell silent. A few students looked at her, surprised. A girl near the window hesitated, then slowly stood up and pulled her chair out. You can take mine, she said. Aaliyah froze for a second, then smiled. Thank you. As she sat, the pain eased, but something else happened too. A knot inside her loosened. For the first time, she didn't feel weak for asking. That evening, fate worked quietly again. Imran was finishing a late delivery when his phone buzzed. The number was unknown. He almost ignored it, but something made him answer. Is this Imran? A woman asked. Yes. This is Farah. We met yesterday, at the restaurant. Imran straightened. Is everything okay? Yes, she said quickly. More than okay. I wanted to thank you properly. And there's something else. She explained about Aaliyah's school. The broken bus ramp. The lack of support. The constant small battles that exhausted them both. Imran listened silently. My cousin runs a community center, he said finally. They help with mobility equipment. It's not charity. It's people helping people. Let me make a call. Farah's voice broke. You don't have to. I know, Imran replied. But I want to. A week later, Aaliyah stood in the community center, gripping a brand new lightweight walking aid. It wasn't magic. It didn't fix everything. But it made standing easier, moving less painful, living a little freer. Hamza watched her test it out, clapping excitedly. You're fast now. Aaliyah laughed. A real laugh. Loud. Fearless. That day, Imran didn't feel like a struggling single father. Farah didn't feel like she was fighting alone. And Aaliyah didn't feel like a burden. She felt like a girl with a future. Sometimes, change doesn't come as a miracle. Sometimes it comes as a chair offered at the right moment, a voice raised when it matters, and a lesson passed quietly from one heart to another, and once learned, it never leaves.